What's good, party people? This is According to Woods, and I have the honor and privilege of having newly minted UFC fighter, not UFC veteran. No, because as of Saturday night, he is a bona fide UFC fighter, LFA veteran, been around the world, and I. He is the pretty boy, Jamal Emmers. Jamal, how you doing, my man?
Hey, I'm doing well. Thanks for having me on the show, man. How you doing?
Dude, thank you for doing this. This is awesome, and even though it seems like, LFA in Costa Mesa was just earlier this year.
Yeah,
Doesn't seem that, yeah, it on paper it's not that long ago, but after all the last 5 months that we've had, it seems like forever ago. But
right.
theoretically speaking, it's crazy how far you've come then, how far you've come since your last iteration in the UFC, and even before your first run in the UFC. You've come leaps and bounds, and especially the fact that you shared the stage with your teammate, the King Bobby Green. That had to feel damn good.
Yeah, it felt great. Like that was that was one of the things I could knock off my bucket list. Fighting in the UFC with a teammate, fighting on the same card. Like that's something I always like dreamt would happen and it happened. So I'm just I'm happy. And then we both won, so that's just like the cherry on top for me. So I'm just happy
Yeah,
that, that I got to experience that.
no, absolutely. And you got to talk about your team, Pinnacle, out there in Riverside, because it's not just. There's a litany of guys and girls that are putting in the work, but the run that you're currently on, you know, Darren Caldwell is on, and obviously the newly I mean, unretired King Bobby Green, the winner and recipient of the $50,000 fight bonus. Yeah, he can pay off his damn house. You know, uh, the fact that like Jacob, right, Jacob Bainey, he's been able to kind of assemble this team and grow it from. I mean, I don't want to say nothing, but he basically built it from the ground up, and to see you guys do what you're doing now, it's incredible.
Yeah, most definitely. Like it's been a long time. Like I moved out here to California about 5.5 years ago. I was even in my career that I had before even moving out here. I had a couple fights, probably like eight. I was still green though. Like I didn't really know much about fighting that. I just knew I was a better athlete and I could wrestle a little bit. So I used that to my advantage. And like since coming out here, my game has grown just within the short period of time that it has. The 5.5 years I've been out here, like I done added so many different tools to my game from my coach Jake Bainey because he's he's one of them guys that if he can't teach it, he'll find somebody to teach it. Like he's one of those coaches. So he's really open minded, um, and I owe a lot to him being open minded enough to give me the help that I need to be a better fighter. So
No,
I
that's
got to Jake
and
for that.
no, absolutely, and the proof is in the pudding. And Tucker El Cholo over on YouTube, he's saying Jamal is a G, straight out, right?
Oh man,
Um,
thank you.
so shout out to Tucker. Now, obviously, coming in, as an athlete, previous to your iteration in combat sports, you would think that would like give you advantages and what have you. So, what was the perception of a you like first day one Jamal Emmers entering in? Like enter that mindset because like again, you would think that you much like Terrion Ware, played football and other sports and did really well at those, right? And you would think in terms of the current breed of athlete, like the mold of like Frank Shamrock and being the athlete that could put it all together. What what were you thinking in terms of getting into combat sports and like how those previous sports would have basically molded you into what you are now?
Hmm, that's dang. I ain't never think about it like that. Well, I could say the other sports, like playing team sports. Like I grew up playing like basketball and stuff, t-ball. And like in team sports, I just never I never really got fulfillment in doing it because like I just felt like, oh, we a team, we did it everybody together. Like somebody could have been going at 50%, another guy going at 70, and then we win. Like that never like made me I never felt like accomplished doing it. When I found out about MMA when I was probably I want to say like 8, maybe 7. I was pretty young. It was a thing me, my dad, and my brother would do. We'd go to Blockbuster, rent the videos, and watch them. So, and I would just spend time with my family. I didn't even think about it as like a career at that point. But the older I got, and I still wanted to compete, like I started wrestling. Wrestling was like really got me. I was like, okay, I do like combat. I really like hand to hand combat. So from there, it just grew. Like the wrestlers dominant was dominant at well, they still are dominant or the most dominant base you can is a good base to have. I'm not gonna say the most dominant, but it's a good base to have. So like from wrestling, everything else just fell into place. Like I just still I wanted to compete. I wanted to do this for a living. So like I just follow all the steps like that the guys before me laid out, and I listen to them as much as I can. Take their advice, good or bad. Sometimes if it's bad, I'll take it. Sometimes if it's good, I take it. It just depends on you know how I feel about their advice. But I mean, shoot, through my whole time competing and stuff, like yeah, I think that was it. Like just playing team sports and realizing that was it. So that's I think that's what really pushed me even more. Cause now like if you lost because you was out of shape, that's your fault. You know, not you can't blame that on anybody else. So I think that was it. Like just accountability, I'll say.
No, 100%. And Shaman Steve over on Facebook, he's saying congratulations on the win.
Thank you.
So shout out to Shaman Steve and Jesse Velasquez. Says, "Yep, hardest sport in the world. Literally the hardest
Yes.
sport in the world." And Shaman Steve saying, "No doubt, Jesse." And Jesse is somebody that you've had rounds with. During his iterations of the Shack system. He went over to kind of cross train with you guys and
Mm-hmm.
all that stuff. So shout out to Jesse and Shaman Steve. Now, in terms of what the MMA or the combat sports landscape look in your town, right? Because obviously now in 2020, I mean, obviously pre-COVID, there was like an MMA, there's an MMA, jiu-jitsu, taekwondo gym on like literally every corner, right? But right, so I
Yeah.
mean, when you started training? What did your local landscape look like?
Mm. When I started actually training in Texas. So, like the landscape in Texas at the time when I first started training, especially the city I lived in, San Antonio, like I want to say they had no more than 10 gyms at the time when I first started. I could like if I could remember from that far back, maybe like 7 at the most, and like we all fought each other. Like um Alex Hernandez, he grew up like in San Antonio, so he was around another guy around the area. Um, yeah, we had like all kind of guys like just around that area. Like we'll just fight each other, and like the landscape was pretty small. Like it was like the Wild Wild West almost. Like guys, literally, I know some guys that fought each other 3 times. Like it was that small. So, but now it's a lot different. There's more gyms I see. I'm starting to see other gyms pop up out there and everything, and like it's good. That's a good sign for MMA. That means it's getting somewhere.
No, 100%, 100%. And it's kind of crazy. Texas, right? They're synonymous, whether it be football. I mean, you're just rugged. You guys are
Yeah,
just rugged, right? So
yeah,
I was even gonna think like, you know, I'm picturing it in my head in terms of like the first like fights or smokers that Jamal Emmers would have, and it'd be like mouth guard and just like bite on the mouth guard and go. It's like
yeah.
y'all probably didn't even do mouth guards. It's like glove up, nut
It
up,
was
let's go.
it was so it was so rugged. Oh man, like I remember my first professional fight. Actually, it had to be maybe 20 people in the audience. We was in this like this dance hall ballroom, and like 20 people, and I'm like, man, I'm making my pro debut here. I was like, oh, well, I got to start somewhere, right? So like it grew from that to the UFC. So like I must have been doing something right.
Yeah, no, you gotta start somewhere, right? Humble beginnings, and I think even like Joe Rogan was like, "Oh well, in any sport, if you really want to raise your kid to be an athlete, like screw the $10,000 sports training camps with the NFL player or basketball player or whatever. No, if you're a dude, leave the house. I guarantee not pay a bill, get evicted or whatever. That's gonna raise more so than anything
Yeah.
your kid to be successful beyond their means.
Hmm.
And it just shows that there's no a quintessential formula for success. But if you
Right.
put enough work and effort into whatever you're doing, who knows what could happen.
Is all it is hard work. Like even if you fail, like I know guys that failed their way to success. Like that's the thing too. Like they just learning as they go. A lot of guys just gotta learn as they go, and I think I was one of those guys because took me a while, but I finally made it. I had to learn as I go, and I'm glad. I'm glad I took the road that I took because now I know a lot more than if I was to just get fast tracked. Like the journey been nice to me, so I'm not completely you know uh like down about it or like that it took a little longer than normal, but it's all about the destination. What I want to get to.
No, man. And yeah, Shaman Steve says work, effort, and belief.
Yeah.
That's kind of the principles. And Jesse reiterated he trained with you in Caldwell at Fight Academy. You probably don't know him though. Um,
Nah. Nah, I remember a lot of guys that I trained with, especially if they made an impression on me. So I remember
yeah,
them.
he hasn't gotten a big time yet. I mean, he could have done the Errol Hawani show, and he did mine. So, thank you for not big leaguing us, good pretty boys, sir. So I definitely want to get into obviously moving from Texas out here to California. What prompted that move?
um, I always wanted to live in California. Like even, I could go back to even when I was younger. Like I'm originally from the East Coast, so all right. Let's just take it back. So I grew up in Southern Florida. I'm from Miami. Lived there until I graduated high school, then moved to Texas. Stayed to Texas for 5 years, and like when Bobby fought Edson Barbosa, that's when I met Jake. I met Jake like a day or two before the fight, and like we talked for like I don't know maybe an hour or so, and he said whenever if I ever want training, I could come out and train, and I jumped on it because I always wanted to visit California. I always wanted to even have an opportunity to live in California, even if it's for a little while. I always wanted to just like live in certain areas. So like I jumped on it. I was like, okay, cool. I'm going to California now. So so I started. So that's where it started. Started training from there and end up moving. Probably I want to say I trained for a camp, and then probably like 2 weeks after that, I moved. I moved down here to California.
That's so dope. That's so dope. And you can tell. You've taken every bit of your experience. In both places, and your journeys, as we all do as young men, and women, to kind of you formulate them into a sort of recipe for success, something that will drive you far beyond those individual experiences, you know leave their lasting effect, right? And that's something
Right.
that you've been able to do exceptionally well. So I definitely want to figure out what what was it about Pinnacle, as a young man, why was Pinnacle and what Jacob Bainey was offering. I mean, what was that the thing that kind of made you choose him to kind of be the guardian to this journey of yours?
well, it was a lot of things, but it was more of how he thought of how his approach of fighting is. Like he's really like really into like fight philosophy, like real more than technique. Fight philosophy is his thing. So like I never had a coach like that really, like that'll just break down fight philosophy. And I was like, man, I should know this. Like I didn't know I should know that. I was like, nah, you should know this. And like I was like, oh, this is the guy then right here. He if he gonna teach me fighting and beyond, then I'm like, this the guy I need to be around. Like he's trying to get the best out of me. So that was what really sold me.
Yeah, dude. And it's not just. I mean, you can point to you and Bobby Green and Darion Caldwell, but I mean, you guys tear up Spar Star events, and knockout promotions. Like, the kind of mindset and the amount of effort that Coach Jake puts into each of your guys' training sessions and being able to basically raise your strengths and even raise your weaknesses in each of you guys and girls. it's
Right,
it's pretty damn incredible.
right. It is like especially with because it's not we're not like a big gym. We don't have like 20 something UFC fighters, right? He doing it with three. He got three top level guys. He doing it with, and like he got to be doing something right if he got two guys in the UFC and one in Bellator. Like it's just like the success is there. So it's like the rest of the world just gonna have to take notice now. So that's my job. That's Bobby's job, and that's Darion's job to let the world know, hey, we got a top level coach too. Just somebody y'all never heard of. The best kept secret. That's what he is.
No, absolutely, and the proof is in the pudding. And Shaman Steve says, yep, it's the formula. It's definitely the damn formula. um So one thing that is also, not, I guess, not too readily known, but I mean, those in the know. But you guys at Pinnacle have been cross training over at CSW, and with Ben Jones and his crew of Jacob Rosales, Curtis Molinder, who fights Friday, tomorrow actually.
Yeah,
You know, how has that evolution kind of become? Because obviously both Jacob and Ben Jones, they're alpha males. I mean,
yeah,
they're complete alpha males, right? And then you and Caldwell and Curtis and Jake, it could be a combustible thing, but you guys have been able to work it so seamlessly with the mutual amount of respect that you guys have for each other, and literally bringing, I mean, since this kind of partnership has kind of manifested,
yeah,
you guys have all collectively, both CSW and Pinnacle, have been on their greatest run yet.
yeah. I mean, like I think we all respect each other, so we all give each other like certain like levels of respect. So we it won't be a clash. Like even if you got two alphas in the room, they both know they alpha. They don't have they're not like a penis swinging contest. They don't have to do that. They like we all know we recognize them in the room. So it's like it's just mutual respect. We got love for them guys. They helped us out a lot. We helped them out a lot. So it's just all love really.
No, I mean, it totally is, and again, just to, the fact that you guys, in your corner, you had, Jones, Bainey, and Caldwell at the last LFA, and it
Yeah,
just like, it again, you could have so many kind of egos, and as you know, that exists in not just this sport, but any. And again, the fact that you guys have all been able to kind of synergistically kind of work together for the benefit of each and every one of you guys and the totality of the team, that it's just like, damn, it's no reason, no question that you guys have been on the run that you have.
yeah. Like we realized this. It's a team sport, but it's still an individual sport, really. So we realized, like, if we got one goal. If a guy, we got to get this guy to win this fight. He trains with us. He's our teammate. We got to get him to win this fight. everybody will put all their energy into that guy. Like whatever this guy needs, all he gotta do is ask it, and it's done. So that's why I think like we understand that. That's why I think we run like the way we run it so smoothly.
No, for real. And yeah, Shaman Steve says real shit, which I, I I'm gonna assume he said real shit. Uh, I'll curse because you got into some trouble. But yeah, I mean, I definitely want to bring up, obviously, your return to the UFC, right? And you had an original, opponent, and for circumstances that were pretty unfortunate, your opponent drops out, and literally on 2 days' notice, right? You're fighting somebody who fought on the undercard of the last LFA that you competed in, Vince the Anomaly Cachero. Talk to me about your mindset. Obviously, had your opponent drop out within a week of the fight, and then getting a new opponent who's moving up in weight on 2 days' notice. Was there like a systematic shift in your philosophy? How much did that change in you guys' game plan? Or
Yeah, most definitely. The philosophy switched and the game plan definitely switched. 'Cause we went from fighting a guy that's heavy with his grappling to a guy that will stand up and don't mind standing up with a decent ground game. So like it was just like, all right, a lot of this stuff is gonna be on the fly. Like I'm like a lot of that fight I had to go off the fly because like I only could watch so much tape and like doing so much within like a day pretty much. Like so like it was just that. I was like, man, I just gotta go off my strengths and net and like not show too many holes in this fight right now because like I can't I can't I can't slip up even though he's coming off the couch, he's coming up a weight class. Like I still had I was like still things that I took into consideration like small gloves. I don't care who you are. Like if you get hit 6 pounds of pressure, knock you out. Don't matter. So like that was in consideration. I saw him drop some guys before, so I know he was heavy handed. So just that, just little changes here, little changes there, but like a lot on the fly. I had to go off the fly off that in that fight.
damn, and that's crazy because I mean, you were hitting him with shots. I mean, I would. He might as well have been like a Hawaiian zombie because the shots that you hit him with was just like, and he just kept on eating them and walking through them, and it was just
Yeah,
like, what is going on here? That has to be something that you have to respect, and.
most definitely. I know some guys are just built like that. Like I've trained with smaller guys and like see them spar and I'm like, man, like you eating too many shots right now. Like, but it's like they unfazed. Like can't cut them. They don't bleed easy, but they just wow 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 eating shots. And I'm like my head hurts just watching it. So I'm like, man, you just like hit. I was hitting them with everything I could, like to the body. Like he just kept walking through it. Tough dude. Like gotta gotta give it up to him for being tough.
Yeah, shout out to Vince the Anomaly Cachero, because obviously not just it was 2 days notice, but I mean he was in the middle of a move to Colorado, in the midst of all of that, and took the fight with you. And you, sir, are a tough customer. So I mean, most people wouldn't have signed on the dotted line, and he did it.
Right.
So shout out to Vince for sure.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, in your well, actually, I should get into Jesse Velasquez was talking about the team mentality that you guys share with CSW and Pinnacle. If your teammate wins, you all win, right? That's the mindset. And about Vince, the guy was tough. Couldn't believe he was taking so many hits from you. Man didn't want to go down. And Shaman C said Vince never stops, and your Thai clinch work was always on point with the shorter dudes. So that the proof is in the pudding. And I'll kind of add, not just you were talking about like him not even getting caught and whatever in your head. I mean, your head was hurting from the shots that he was taking, and it was almost like his hair stayed in place Like, I want to know what he's using because his hair stayed in place. I was like, that was the most miraculous thing.
Oh man. It's just Hawaiian toughness, I guess. That's what it gotta be. Like, man.
Yeah, got to be some more to it. But
Yeah.
obviously, it's still misleading, right? I mean, obviously, you are the pretty boy, but I mean, what we saw in you was absolute viciousness, And I can't wait to see what you do the next time you're in the octagon. So, without kind of divulging too much, what is some fights in the featherweight division of the UFC that look interesting to you?
Mm, any fight that'll get me to the belt. That's the goal. Like, I want to be. I just want to be the best in the world. Like, that's it. Like, that's the goal. Like, whoever I gotta fight, it doesn't really matter. Like, I just like fighting.
Damn, I like it. I like it. Anybody in it, everybody, just send them my way. I'll sign the contract. I love it.
Yeah.
Damn right. Now, obviously, I mean, we talked a lot about of fight stuff, but obviously, as a professional athlete, especially, cutting weight and the whole process or whatever, like, what is your indulgence, right? Is there like, damn, I want to eat a steak right after weigh-ins, or, if I win, blah, 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 whatever. Like, what's your go-to?
Mm, see, I got sweet tooth, so any cake, cookies, any of that, candy. Yeah, I just got a sweet tooth. I eat like I like one thing I really gotta have definitely after weigh-ins is Dr. Pepper. At least at least one. Like just to get it out because I've been waiting forever to drink it. So that's one thing I have to
That that's good. I like it. I like it. That's Oh man, that's good. I like it. I like it. And I don't know if this will happen, but this is definitely interesting. Shaman Steve said Spike Alpha Ginger Carlisle would be a hell of a fight. Pretty Boy versus Alpha Ginger.
have.
Woo!
I seen him fight a few times on LFA cards, and I saw his debut and everything. I'll fight him. I'll fight anybody. Yeah,
Yeah, I again with what you did on Saturday, and I think you proved. I don't know who would be a doubter to you and your career at this point, but if those things still exist, you proved all the doubters wrong on Saturday. That's that is absolute truth, man. That's great.
like if I got doubters, I don't care. Like I don't even care to prove them wrong. Like it's just like okay, like they talking about me and watching me anyway. So like anything bad they got to say about me, I'm like fine. There's no sweat off my back. You know.
Which is a virtue, especially in this day and age where everybody's just wow, 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 wow. Not everybody like I'm gonna delete you from this and blah blah blah. Like
Yeah.
none of that matters.
It
Once that
really.
cage door closes, that's the ultimate truth teller.
Yep. It really is. Like you can't hide from yourself in the fight anyway. Like a fight gonna expose you for who you are. Like it really does.
Damn right, yeah. And Shaman C says, "Great talk, man. You're a real one for sure. You are." Now, obviously, you step into the cage alone, right? But you have a litany of people that back you up. Let's get some shout outs out of the way, my man.
Yeah. Well, my mom, she always gets a shout out. But that lady, she, man, we put her through a lot when we was not a lot, but we put her through some stuff when we was kids, and like I'm like I hope my kids don't pay me back for that if I ever have any. But my mom for one, uh, my coach Jake, my teammates at Pinnacle, Sam at Icon, my striking coach Bobby, Darion, Sergio, Elijah, Mark, my brothers and sisters, everybody, my sponsors, um, my manager Oren at KO Reps, my chiropractor Dale, my guy Dale. Oh man, I love Dale. That active life, and yeah, that's about it. That's all I can think of right now.
I like it, and I love the fact that you said that about your mom. I hope my kids don't put me through what I put her through. My mom said the same of me, and yeah, my kid is doing the exact same. So uh, I'm gonna say a little prayer for you, as the song says. And for those who haven't already followed you on social media, my man, where can they find you?
All right. Instagram, Twitter, Pretty Boy Emmers, and Facebook, Jamal Pretty Boy Emmers.
Damn right. That's awesome. Well, dude, thank you for taking time out of your day to do this. This is incredible. Thank you guys for watching us. But this has been According to Woods with the pretty boy, Jamal Emmers. Yeah, he is. And we are out. Thank you guys. Oh, like, share, and subscribe. That's cool.